It's playoff time. Waiver Wire Week 15, presented by Ervin.com. We have 10 fantasy additions to break down before waiver claims process on Wednesday. With notable injuries from Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Aiden O'Connell, Will Dissly, Isaac Guerrero, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Brooks. Go position by position. And from the most viable to pure desperation, from tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, and DST. Don't skip, unless you want to be a first-round exit. And we're going to start it off with tight ends. And Juwan Johnson, we praised him last week. Here we go again. Look, half the moves that we make all year, especially now, to prevent our opponents from getting an edge over us. Juwan isn't in an amazing offense, but he is one of the only viable offensive weapons left on a team with not much else. He's rose to the occasion, and if he continues to make a difference, you want him to make a difference for your bench, rather than the reason you lose your matchup and don't pick him up, and your teammate does, and then you lose. Let's look at running backs. Patrick Taylor. San Fran can't catch a break. He's the best chance at a starting player on a better-than-average team. It's not often you get a chance to waiver someone with the expectation of taking over a full position 1 load. And given the situation, that's what the Niners are going to ask of him. Worth a stash, maybe even a spot start if you're in a tough spot. Fourth in line for the Niners isn't ideal, but they are going to ask a lot of him, regardless, and that stands to benefit someone. Should be you. Sincere McCormick. The door is open for the starting position, and McCormick and fans are pleading their case. It's hard to say what the Raiders will do once everyone's healthy, but managing our roster is about taking chances and planning for the future. He's not on a winning team, but he finds himself in a lead role. He can be more valuable than other handcuffs that you have on your bench. Wide receivers next. Rashad Bateman. Look, he's back in the mix with more of an opportunity to maximize the role with the essential departure, of Deontay Johnson. He's boom or bust, but the Ravens are a team that's competing, and they're going to go all the way to the bitter end. We all stand to benefit from that, and by improving our bench space, like the Niners, if someone goes down, they can step up into a viable position. Bateman shouldn't be left on waivers, okay? Elijah Moore. I'll be honest, I don't believe in Elijah Moore, but I didn't believe in Jerry Jeudy either. And I don't think I was alone in that or this. But Jameis Winston changes everything. Whether the season is over or not, he's fighting for a job. All of these guys are, and that relevance can be valuable and spark performances that no one expects. Worth a bench spot at the least. And Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Look, he's last because he's simply in the worst position as far as his offense goes, but that doesn't take away from his continued effort every week. He's out there trying to make a difference for his team too, and his quarterback trusts him, and that's all we need for fantasy production. Everyone else is gone. He's worth a stash. He's still fighting the fight, and if he could be used for a spot start, if something horrible happens, that's better than someone like Ricky Pearsall, respectfully. Quarterbacks next. Jameis Winston. Again, at this point, you're hoping you don't have to start any of these guys. We're just trying to future-proof our rosters from injury or other unexpected things before the regular season and our fantasy playoffs end. He's a gunslinger. Creates fantasy points, and is a totally viable option if something goes wrong. Keep him on your radar, and keep him off your opponent's team. All right, now that we've done band-aiding our roster, padding our bench, and sabotaging our opponents, look at some defenses to maximize our points for playoffs. DST, it's Atlanta Falcons. This is purely for the next 2 weeks of your playoffs. Matchups are great, even for the Dogwater Falcons. They face Las Vegas and the Giants in Week 15 and Week 16. So it's Desmond Ridder this week. and Drew Lock next week. I mean, you should hear those names and just start to salivate. Green Bay Packers. Packers also have a juicy 2-week stint. They get Seattle this week, who gives up nearly double-digit fantasy points to opposing defenses this year. And next week, they get the Saints, who will be missing Derek Carr. 2 more rideable weeks of mouth-watering matchups. And lastly, the Washington Commanders. And if neither of those previous ones trigger your Pavlovian response, the Commanders get the Derek Carless Saints this week. So the Commanders are going to steamroll them into the dirt like pavement. Week 16, it's Philly, not good. But for the finals, it's Atlanta, which is a nice matchup as well. But at least for this week, it's a sure bet. These 10 players are the most viable options based off Week 14 production, availability, and outlook. Subscribe, turn on post notifications so you stay prepared for Sunday. Visit my store and watch some more videos.